Welcome to Biography Central. You are listening to Life of Sri Ramakrishna, a complete biography. Chapter 53. Farewell to Dakshineswar. There is a liquid beauty in the rising sun. There is a royal splendor in its midday blaze, and there is also an exquisite grace in its setting glow. So it is with the life of a great man. There is a sweetness in its childhood and adolescence. There is resplendence in its maturity, and again there is a deep pathos in its last days. We have followed the course of the Master's life through its early stage and growth to maturity. Now we must turn our attention to the closing scenes. During the sultry months of the year 1885, the Master suffered a great deal from the terrible heat, which was alleviated by the ice which the devotees brought to him daily. But this frequent use of ice produced a pain in the throat, which was at first so trifling as to pass unnoticed. But in a month, it became so much aggravated, especially whenever the Master talked or after samadhi, that the disciples grew alarmed and called in Dr. Rakul Chandrahaldar Bobazer, a specialist in diseases of the throat. He prescribed some medicine and advised the Master not to talk much or to fall into trances. But it was very difficult to carry out these instructions. In a previous chapter, it was told how the Master, during his sadhana period, often used to attend the great Vaishnava festivals at Panahati, a few miles north of Dakshineswar, and would fall in a trance. This year, he proposed to go there with his young devotees who had never seen this emporium of joy and chanting of the Lord's name, as he called it. This was directly contrary to the advice of the doctor, and the older disciples tried to dissuade him from going. The Master, however, silenced them by saying, "We shall go after early breakfast and remain there for an hour or two. That won't do much harm, and I shall take precautions against falling into trances." On the morning of the appointed day, the devotees, about 25 in number, came to Dakshineswar in 2 boats, ready to accompany the Master, for whom a separate boat had been engaged. A few women devotees also were to join the party. The Holy Mother, then at Dakshineswar, asked Sri Ramakrishna, through one of the women, if she too might go. The Master said, "You are all going, are you not? Well, if she likes, she may go." The Holy Mother took the hint and decided not to go. The boats reached Panahati about noon. Around the ancient peepal tree on the Ganges, there was a large concourse of men and women, and parties of Vaishnavas were singing here and there. Narendra, Balaram, Girish, Ramchandra, and other devotees entreated the Master again and again to keep aloof from the singing parties. Sri Ramakrishna, with his devotees, walked to the house of Mani Sain, the zemindar of the place, who received them warmly. The 2 chief places of interest at Panahati are the temple of Radhakanta, adjoining the house of Mani Babu, and the abode of Raghav Pandit, a devoted follower of Sri Gauranga, situated a mile off. The festival itself commemorates the feast given by Raghunath Das, another distinguished disciple of Sri Gauranga, to Nityananda and his party. It was here that this God-intoxicated son of a wealthy nobleman was blessed by Nityananda and permitted to renounce wife and home and take shelter at the feet of Sri Gauranga at Puri. After a little rest, the Master and his devotees visited the deities in the temple. In the courtyard, a party of singers was chanting the name of God. Just then a man, tricked out in all the insignia of a Vaishnava, came to the spot, rosary in hand, and began to shout and dance with the musicians, imitating a devotee in an exalted mood. Sri Ramakrishna at once saw through the sham. He was in perfect control of his feelings, but in the twinkling of an eye, he broke loose from the ring of his devotees and stood in the midst of the singing party in a state of samadhi. Narendra and others closed round him in haste. Now the Master danced in wild ecstasy. Again he stood statue-like in samadhi. While dancing, he advanced and retreated in quick steps in time with the music. The grace of his movements and the divine fervor which they expressed were unique. The presence of the Master increased the enthusiasm of the singers 100-fold, and they chanted the Lord's name with great fervor. After half an hour, the Master became conscious of the outside world. The devotees tried to separate him from the band of singers, so that he might return quickly to the boat after visiting the seat of Raghav Pandit, but the singers followed. The master advanced a few steps and then fell into a trance. Regaining a little consciousness, he proceeded again and fell into samadhi. Thus it went on. The progress, therefore, was very slow. Words can't describe the exquisite beauty of Sri Ramakrishna's person on this day during the state of trance. He seemed taller and lighter in complexion than usual. His countenance shone with a celestial glow, and dignity, compassion, peace, and bliss were written on it. His smile acted like a magic spell upon the spectators, who forgot everything else. His orange silk cloth set off his beauty. Even his immediate attendants were astonished at the wonderful transfiguration. Gradually, other musical parties were caught up in the contagion of fervor. The huge procession slowly moved on towards Raghav Pandit's house. Just before Sri Ramakrishna's party reached its destination, a significant thing happened. The women devotees in the party had brought some prasad for the master. All of a sudden, a rogue posing as a Vaishnava appeared, snatched a pot from the hands of one of them, and feigning divine emotion, put a little of the offering into the mouth of the master, who was in a state of trance. At this profane touch, a shudder passed through his whole body. His samadhi broke, and he spat out the food in abhorrence and washed his mouth. He then took a grain of prasad from another pot and had the rest distributed among the devotees. The intruder slipped away in the crowd. Traversing the distance of a mile in 3 hours, Sri Ramakrishna reached the seat of Raghav, saw the images of the gods there, and took a little rest. Gradually the crowd dispersed, and the devotees conducted the master to his boat. They were about to start, when Nabai Chaitanya of Konagar was seen running towards them. He had heard about the master's arrival at the festival and had been searching for him. Finding the master in the boat, he threw himself at his feet and wept piteously, praying for the blessing. Sri Ramakrishna was pleased with his zeal and devotion, and in a state of trance touched him. Immediately Nabai began to dance with joy and saluted Sri Ramakrishna again and again. The master stroked Nabai's back, gave him advice, and restored him to his normal state. That day Nabai found a new meaning in religion, and placing the charge of his family upon his son, spent the remaining years of his life as a recluse on the bank of the Ganges, engaged in prayer and meditation. Henceforth, old Nabai would fall into trances during Sankirtan, and his emotion became an inspiration to those who came in contact with him. Sri Ramakrishna returned to Dakshineswar in the evening. The devotees took leave of him and returned to Calcutta. The women intended to spend the night with the Holy Mother, as there was the festival of Snanayatra on the following day. At night, while taking his supper, the master remarked to one of them, "It was well that she, the Holy Mother, did not go with us, for in that great gathering everybody was watching me on account of my frequent bhava samadhi. They would have made fun at our expense. I admire her intelligence." Then he cited the following incident. When the Marwari devotee Lakshmi Narayan wanted to present me with 10,000 rupees, I felt as if my head were being sawn through. I prayed, "Mother, after such a length of time you come to tempt me again." In order to test the trend of her, the Holy Mother's mind, I said to her, "Well, he wants to present me with this money. I have refused it, and he wants to give it to you. Why don't you accept it?" Her immediate reply was, "It is impossible, for my acceptance would be the same as yours. It will have to be spent in your service, and you will be the virtual owner of it. People respect you because of your renunciation, so we cannot accept the money on any account." I gave a sigh of relief at her words. When this was reported to the Holy Mother, she said, "From the nature of his reply, when I asked to go to Panahati, I understood that he did not desire it. Had he done so, he would have said, 'Yes, certainly.' So I changed my plan." That night, the master had no sleep, owing to a burning sensation over his entire body, probably due to the touch of promiscuous people. The next day, being a special day, he had a crowd of visitors of both sexes. Among them was a woman who came to him for advice in her domestic affairs, and she marred the joy of the occasion by being too insistent. At mealtime, he did not talk with her, nor did he eat freely as on other days. Later on, he remarked, "In other years on this day, I used to have repeated bhava, samadhi, and the divine ecstasy would last for 2 or 3 days. But today I had nothing of the kind. The presence of people with profane thoughts has prevented the mind from soaring upward. The master's participation in the Panahati festival aggravated his throat trouble. The weather had not been good, and the doctor said that on account of exposure and the frequent recurrence of bhava samadhi, the ailment had taken a turn for the worse. He warned the devotees that the disease might prove obstinate if proper precautions were not taken. The devotees resolved to keep a strict watch in future. Master, however, like a boy, shifted the whole responsibility of the trip onto Ram and some other elderly devotees, saying, "I would not have gone there if they urged me to stay here." One day, about time, a devotee came to Dakshineswar and found Master sitting quietly on his small bedstead, medicine painted on his throat. He looked sullen, a boy under strict orders not to stir out. One asked what was the trouble. The Master said, "Pain is worse, and the doctor has told me not too much." "We hear," said the devotee, "that you've been to Panahati. That may be the reason for the aggravation." "Yes," the Master replied fretfully. "It was raining, and the road was muddy. Yet Ram took me there and led me a pretty dance the whole day." The devotee consoled him by saying that a little care for a few days would set everything right. The Master was pleased and said, "But how can I be silent altogether? You have come from such a distance, and may I not exchange a few words with you?" The devotee said, "You need not, sir. We shall talk enough after you get well." But the Master forgot the doctor's remonstrances as well as his own pain and conversed as usual. Another month passed, and there was no improvement. On days of the full and the new moon, the pain became more acute. It was impossible for him to eat solid food. The doctors diagnosed the disease as clergyman's sore throat. Proper medicines and diet were prescribed. The Master carried out the injunctions faithfully, except on 2 points, namely, checking the divine ecstasies and giving rest to the vocal organs. As soon as he spoke of God, he lost all consciousness of the body and fell into samadhi. Nor would he stop speaking to people who, afflicted by the world, came to him for solace. The number of such people was considerable and was daily increasing. Ever since his meeting with Keshub in the year 1875, he had tried without ceasing to deliver his message to the world and observed no regularity about food or rest. His sleep was much disturbed. He would get out of bed several times during the night and arise at 4 o'clock to spend the hours of the early dawn in reciting the Lord's name and in meditation. No wonder his health was broken. Though he himself never referred to this breakdown, his consciousness of it could be easily inferred from his occasional complaints to the Divine Mother. For instance, shortly before this illness, he was heard one day, as he was in an ecstatic state, to say to her, "Why dost thou bring here these worthless people who are like milk adulterated with 5 times its quantity of water? My eyes are almost gone by blowing into the fire to dry up the water, and my health is shattered. This is beyond my power to do. Go and do it thyself if thou hast a fancy to it, or bring only good men whom I can arouse by a few words." Another day, noticing the increasing rush of newcomers, he said in the same mood, "How is it that thou art bringing such a crowd here? I find no time even to bathe or eat." Pointing to his own body, "This is but a perforated drum, and if you beat it day and night, how long will it last?" Still another day, as the listener knows, he prayed to her to give some power to Vijay and others so that they might, to a certain extent, prepare the newcomers before they came to him. Indeed, about the latter part of the year 1884, the name of Sri Ramakrishna had become widely known to the Calcutta public, and hundreds of people were attracted to him. Notwithstanding his physical troubles, he was as enthusiastic as ever in helping seekers after truth. He intuitively understood their emotional attitudes, and whenever he found one with real aspirations for God, he would be fired with a divine fervor and push him on towards the goal by precepts, or arouse his dormant spirituality by a touch. The passion for God would be redoubled, and the seeker would progress easily and smoothly under the Master's guidance. This service to humanity, described as the greatest and noblest in the scriptures, he rendered disinterestedly and wholeheartedly up to the last moment of his life. Still another month wore away. The disease proved more and more obstinate. The devotees were at a loss to know what to do. when an incident occurred which shaped their future course. A lady one day invited the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna to supper. Though she knew that the master's condition might prevent acceptance, still she sent an invitation to him by a devotee to come, even if it were only for a few minutes. So eager was she to have him present. The messenger returned with the report that the master could not come as there had been bleeding from the throat. Narendra, Ram, Girish, Kalipada, Devendra, Mahendra, and others who were present were alarmed at this news, and after consulting together, it was agreed that they should hire a house in Calcutta and bring the master there for treatment. Narendranath was much dejected during the meal. To a friend's query, he replied, "Perhaps the object round which our joys are centered is going to slip away from us. I have learned from medical books and some medical friends whom I have consulted that this kind of throat trouble ultimately develops into cancer. Today's report seems to confirm my suspicion. No remedy has yet been discovered for this fell disease." The very next day, some of the older devotees went to Dakshineswar and proposed to the master that he should go to Calcutta for treatment, and he agreed. A small two-storied house, commanding a view of the Ganges, was engaged in Durga Char Mukherjee Street, Bagh Bazaar. 3 days later, the master came to Calcutta. He saw the house, but accustomed as he was to the open air of Dakshineswar, he did not like it. "Have they brought me here as they do with dying people in their last moments?" he said, and straightway walked to Balaram Bose's house. Balaram received him warmly and requested him to stay there until a suitable lodging could be found. The master consented. The devotees began the search for a suitable house, and in the meantime invited some eminent Veds, physicians, of Calcutta to diagnose the case. Ganga Prasad and some other Kavarajas consulted together and diagnosed the case as Rohini, or cancer. The devotees, getting no hope from the Veds, thought it best to have him treated by a homeopath. The news of Sri Ramakrishna's arrival in Calcutta soon spread to all quarters and drew crowds of visitors to Balaram's house. In spite of the doctor's warning and the eager entreaties of his devotees, the master very often spoke with these people and solved their problems. His unabated zeal for religious discourse made his illness seem as a pretext to come to Calcutta in order to reach the spiritual aspirants unable to go to Dakshineswar. From morning till bedtime, with a short recess of about a couple of hours at noon, he talked and talked, answering eager questions and illuminating by his frequent trances the hearts of innumerable devotees. He stayed there only a week, but it was a week of great spiritual enlightenment. The following incident will illustrate this. One day, the room was packed with visitors, and Girish and Kalipada were singing a song telling of Sri Chaitanya's passionate love for humanity. At the western end of the hall sat the master facing the east in Samadhi. His countenance wore that heavenly smile which characterized him when he was in that state. His right leg, slightly raised, was extended before him, and a devotee, with closed eyes and face and chest bathed in tears, was holding it with great care. After the song was over, Sri Ramakrishna regained partial consciousness and bade the man before him repeat the name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya thrice. In a few days, the parlor of Gokul Chandra Bhattacharya in Shampoo Core Street was engaged, and it was decided to place the master under the treatment of Dr. Mahendra Lal Sarkar. I hope you like this chapter. We need volunteers and sponsors to create content with even better quality and with more variety. If you wish to join this initiative as a volunteer or sponsor, please click the links given in description below. To help us reach more viewers, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Biography Central. Thank you for your time. It means a lot. Namaste.